What's going on, everybody? It's Dallas. We're back with Dream Large, Live Larger. Today, I have a very special guest, one of my old friends from back when we were both training MMA in Hawaii. Now he's doing big, big things in MMA. He made it all the way to the UFC, the top elite level. So basically, man, it's glad to have you on. This is my second podcast, actually. So
Nice.
yeah, I've been doing a lot of the like the Instagram videos, but it's I'm fortunate enough to get guys like at your caliber to come here and do podcasts with me. So I'm
Ah,
really thankful,
man.
man. I really
I
appreciate
appreciate it, brother.
it.
I'm just another human.
Nice. Yeah, man. I mean, that's what I like about you, man. So much humility, like um that thing that you were doing for Thanksgiving. What was that? The charity event. That's that's why I
Yeah, just
support you.
getting out and doing something,
Yeah,
giving
that's
back,
I
giving back.
support you, man. Yeah, nice, nice. Okay. All right, man. Cool. So yeah, let's just get into this. So basically I have a few questions for you. Starting off with like what sports did you do as a kid? Like did you always know you wanted to be a fighter?
No, I grew up playing football, being raised by my dad as Fu Samoan in a Samoan household. It was always what the man wanted. So growing up was a lot of majority of my life growing up was football. But it wasn't until maybe like ending of ninth grade, 10th grade, I saw the Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner fight, and that was like kind of like, what the fuck is this? This is something like for me, being a teenager, it was like, wow, this is gonna be the one thing that all the chicks like, just being a fighter. They're like, oh, girls love this. They it's not working for me being a football player. So at the time, that was my outlook, being just a teenager, just trying to, I guess, trying to find my path, just trying to find the way. And yeah, man, that was a little niche that started me in it. And it wasn't until I met my uncle. He was training at a kickboxing gym, and I was like, bro, you serious? There's kickboxing over here. Take me. We gotta go. So I went with him the very next day, and sure enough, that I got to do a practice. That ended up becoming my first gym, and that was the rest is history, bro. I started doing kickboxing and going into martial arts since then. I've been in the game maybe about 12 years now, 12 to 13 years. And no looking back, I stopped playing football, told my dad that this is the dream I'm going to chase. If I'm going to make it in it as a professional athlete, it's going to be fighting. I'm not going to play football, so that was just my personal, my goals from then on.
Nice, man. Nice. So how did he take it when you told him that news? Because he always wanted to be a football player. How did he take it?
Yeah, bro. Old boy was mad. Yes, I remember it like yesterday, bro. I took the whole day. I was like, how am I gonna tell this fucking guy that I don't want to play football anymore? How am I gonna tell him that it's my way? I'm not looking forward to playing football anymore. But yeah, man, we bucked heads for a long time, but it wasn't until his friends started telling him like, bro, your boy is doing big things, bro. You gotta check this out. Family members, just him being at work and people asking, hey, your boy's Maki Pitolo, and his name on the streets is Maki. So I'm a junior on the streets, and like it wasn't until then it started clicking for him, and he really was started to indulge in it and like really look into what this was, because he only taught me and my brother boxing and only to self defense. And I'm the first generation fighter, and I'm proud to say it. And I the first Pitola to take fighting on and really just make it something.
Nice, man. That's cool. So since we're already talking about kind of like the history of how you got started, so like can you take us through that like your early fighting journey? Did you start off as amateur?
I did start off as an amateur. My background is kickboxing, but I learned jujitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai, all throughout the years. But as an amateur, I started off kickboxing, and it was mean. It just the amateur days. You gotta you kind of. I was still in high school, still a teenager, so I was still kind of living my life as a teenager, but also trying to find out how to make it to the UFC and how to make it big. I was just taking baby steps at the time,
Mhm.
and it wasn't until I had my first mixed martial arts, real MMA fight that things started really taking off. I literally, back then, you know how it was back home. They there was all the garage gyms, there was all the big gyms, and they had all these promotions almost every weekend. There was a fight. So I was looking to, I literally lined me and my boy that I started off with, Saib Hagofi. I started my journey with him, and we just lined up fights for ourselves, me and him, and the group of guys that was training with us. We literally lined it up to where I had, like, there was 1 month where I fought 4 times, which was one time every weekend, and my amateur record is 13-3. And bro, like, it was just within a year and a half span, I got those fights in, and turning pro kind of wasn't meant to be, but it kind of was. I couldn't find any more fights because I was just banging them all out, and my name got out there. I was doing good, so at at that point, it was just kind of do or die. I got to go into the pro league, and now it's time to turn pro and go from there. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of the same thing in the pro career, just young, trying to get out there, get my name out there. Didn't know if my name was getting out there, or wasn't too sure if I was making the right steps until I got into Westerwald MMA, or also known as Hakui Lua, and that's where I linked up with Yancy and Arnold Badon, all the boys over there, and that's where it kind of took off. Uncle Doug got me under his wing, and that right there was my pack until I moved up here to Las Vegas. They still my pack. They still my brothers for life, but it's just that's where it really took off for me, from amateur to being a pro.
Nice, nice. So in the beginning, when you were fighting amateur, I know you were saying that you were mainly doing the kickboxing. When did you go from just kickboxing to you're venturing out to MMA fights as well? Was it during that 13-3 record you had?
Yeah, all like yeah. So my 13-3 record, that was, I want to say, I think it was right after I graduated. That's when I turned 18 too. So right after I graduated, I was able to qualify to do MMA, because back then, you gotta be 18 and older. If you're 17, you gotta have your parents sign. And at the time, my parents wasn't really all for it, so I was just kickboxing. And
Mm,
then finally, at like 18, big boy pants on,
mhm.
I get to sign the paper myself. This is what I'm gonna do, and that was it right there. Like, okay, boys, I got the green light. I can sign the paper myself now, and the rest is history from there.
Nice, man. That's crazy. That's good, man. 13-3, that's really good too. So if you're since you started at 18, when did it become a thing where you're like, oh, I'm gonna travel to the mainland and fight, and like you knew that you were gonna take the next level, the next step from just fighting local promotions, like you're saying every week you're banging out amateur fights.
Yeah.
When did you figure out like, okay, this is the time of my career, I know I'm getting really good and I'm ready to go and travel and fight in like different events outside of Hawaii? When did you figure that out?
Um, Probably my third MMA fight. It wasn't to the mainland, but shout out to Uncle BJ. He got me on his just scrap card, and I got to co-main event as an amateur. Still, I got to co-main event one of the just scrap cards up there, and just being able to come up there, him housing us, and the promotion paid for the flights. That right there was like, oh, bro, not a dollar out of my pocket. These guys paid for my trip up here. They got me a fight, and they I got to train with the BJ Penn at the time, his team, his gym. I was staying in the fighter house that they flew everybody into, and just hearing the stories over there and the connections, I was like, bruh, this sport is mean. I'm not even a professional yet, and I'm already getting flown out to these fights and being able to experience this other territory of fighting. So that right there was instantly, I was like, "Wow, I'm in love with this. Just imagine where we can go from here, guys." And from then it was like to other islands, and then soon enough I made it to the mainland. First time I got to go out, I never got to fight, but I came to Las Vegas 3 times. Two of them was to fight, and one of them was to just corner. But the 2 times I did come out here to Las Vegas, the fights didn't fall through for me, so it was just another vacation. But it was a good experience to like get this close to fighting in the mecca of fighting.
Mhm.
But all in all, bro, just over the time going through to the outer islands and realizing that there's a whole nother aspect to the fighting where you can visit other cultures and really indulge in those things.
Okay, so when was your first fight that you had in Vegas or wherever in the mainland?
Um, it was on VFC when I went to over to Candice. that was my first, and I was already professional. I got managed from Sucker Punch, and they're the ones that got it. So
Okay. So
yeah,
Sucker Punch.
now that if I'm really thinking that that's probably the first time I ever fought out of Hawaii, out of the States, because when I was pro, it was the local venues, Destiny, X1, 808 Battlegrounds. It was all those events. And if they was on another island, Maui, Big Island, Kauai, then I would go travel to those islands. But it wasn't until I got locked in with a good management. Shout out to Brian Butler and Sucker Punch. They're the ones that really pushed me out there and got me to VFC at the time. And that was my really first big burst onto the United States scene.
Are you still with the Sucker Punch?
Yeah, till today.
Nice,
Yes.
nice. That's good, man. Good that you guys share that bond. You know, stuck with them from the beginning. That's good, man.
Yeah, brother. Yes.
Okay, so since we're talking about you breaking out to the United States scene, this is perfect. I wanted to ask you this question: how was the Dana White Contender Series? I know that you were able to fight on that. So can you maybe share your experience and like maybe first time being on camera with was it ESPN at the time? I'm not sure, but you know,
Yep. Was ESPN.
okay, well, yeah, go ahead and share that
And
experience.
yeah, man, worked my butt off to get there. But when I finally did get there, it was kind of like seize the moment. Nobody's gonna take this from me. I worked all these years. I worked blood, sweat, and tears on the mat, brothers. You know how it is.
Mhm.
But just basically not letting anybody get in my way. And the mindset was that I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be there. I'm not letting anything shock me. Nobody's gonna throw me any type of vibe. I'm here on my own, my mission, my mindset is hunting mode every time I'm in a fight. So it's kill or be killed at that point for me. I want to make a statement. This is the time, this is the place, and it was the right opportunity. And I took full advantage of it. And bro, it I had a history with the guy already from training with him back in the day, but it could have been anybody on that given night. I don't care who it was, they was gonna get these hands. And
Mhm.
I was just looking forward to Uncle Dana saying that I finally made it. And it was just, I could just feel it. It was right there, like pen in my hand, visualizing the contract being signed and just ready to do me. And it's time to let everybody know that Coconut Bombs is here and here to stay. And that was my moment.
Nice, man. Speaking of coconut bombs, when did you come up with that fight name?
Bruh, I just wanted a cool Instagram name, and it just stuck with me. It just
Nice.
stuck, and I guess I made the right move. Huh?
No, definitely, bro. Definitely. Okay. So you had a very successful, fights in the UFC. I remember you had those body shot knockouts. Things were going great. So what happened? What turned in your in career in Hawaii, training in Hawaii? What turned to where you were like, it's time for me to get to that next level. I'm thinking of, I'm probably going to decide to move to Vegas and train out there. Why did you make that decision? I guess I'm trying to say here.
uh, in all honesty, this pandemic, bro, it
Mhm.
wasn't doing any good for me personally and for our state, bro. I mean, look at us. They're still debating on what the hell they're gonna do. So I could not wait. I got two kids. I got to make a future for them, and just being up here. I was up here 3 times this year already for my fights, and I could see and feel and just know that I was in the right place up here. The PI, you got extreme down the road. You got the right type of boys around. The mats are filled every day. So I mean, it was nothing going wrong back home, but the real thing that why I wanted to move up here was to create a better future for my two kids,
Right.
create my empire, kind
Mhm.
of just dig deep. If there's a time to dig deep, it's right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm young, I'm able, I can still move my limbs. So outside of fighting, your boy's still grinding. I'm out here trying to establish myself, brother. I'm just trying to get after.
Mhm. Yeah, I can see that definitely, man. I follow you on social media, and like everything you're doing is you're building a brand name, Coconut Bombs. Not just
Yes.
fighting, but just a brand name, and that's sweet, man. I totally believe in that. I'm all about marketing, so
I
that's
see you,
cool.
brother. You grinding too, brother.
Yeah, we got to do it, especially like you said with this pandemic. I think it's a time to not sulk and think negatively and say, oh, where's my business going to go from here? But I
Exactly.
think our minds think alike. It's like take advantage of every single situation and use whatever resources we have. basically.
That's the main thing. That's what it was, bro. I got to get after it. These things, these opportunities don't come around very often, especially when we get older.
Yep.
I'm not getting any younger, so I just gotta seize the moment, basically. No looking back, no regrets, and home is always going to be there. My brothers is always going to be there, and anytime I want to go back, anytime they want to come up here, they know it's here. So that the access to these resources is not limited to just me. It's just, if you put a cap on yourself, that's the only time you really putting a limit.
Okay, so since you're out there now, maybe take us through like a day in the life of Maki, like your training. So what's your training schedule like? And like you get to train with like a lot of Hawaii guys. I know a lot of like
Yep.
those guys moved up there.
Yeah. Right now, I'm locked in with the UFC PI, and I'm there basically every day, Monday through Friday. I got sessions there from morning, and then over at Extreme, same thing, morning to night. I'm there, just getting in the reps right now. This is my first full month of training both sides, the strength and conditioning with the time on the mats, getting the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, and whatnot. And I feel good. It just took me some time getting situated with my family and making sure everybody's locked in and settled in. But yeah, if I got to tell you, the daily schedule is just wake up and grind,
Yep.
get after it. That's on my agenda 24/7. What we got to do today, if I got to fix up the house, that's what it is, and get right back to the gym. I've been living in the gym this past month, especially because I got camp coming around. So I'm just kind of prepping myself up so I don't got to get ready. It's just all the train will be rocking. I'll be ready to go once we fall into camp.
Okay, well, since speaking of upcoming camp, you got any fight news, or you gotta kind of
Yeah, buddy. Your boy fighting February 13th, UFC 258, and I'll be fighting the Cuban Missile Crisis, Julian Marquez. Real exciting guy. He's exciting. I'm exciting. I never back down from any type of challenge. Never overlooking anyone. So this fight is going to be exciting. I'm excited. These big boys wake me up every day, and I can't wait to test my skill on February 13th.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm excited to watch you, bro. I've been following your fights. You got crazy power, crazy knockout power. Definitely, for
I appreciate it, my brother.
body shot knockouts we're talking about.
I love to hunt from, bro.
You got bombs. Okay, so we're about to close up here, man. I just appreciate your time, but basically, before we go, do you have any advice, man? So I know where you started with your story here, and you started with football, and you made your way to high school kickboxing, then you went amateur, then pro. Do you have any advice that you can give these upcoming fighters, especially the Hawaii boys? The Hawaii boys and girls, especially for them, do you have any advice on maybe some tips that they could take from you today that will help them get to the level that you're at, all the way to the UFC highest level? Like, do you have any tips for them to get there?
Yeah, man.
Your experience,
If for me, the number one thing that has sticking out and still sticks out to today is be open to everything, man. Don't come into a gym thinking that you know everything. You gotta leave the ego, leave the pride at the door, especially for all my Hawaii brothers and sisters. I know we always walk around like we got a chip on our shoulder, but we gotta lose that. If you can lose that from a young age, you're setting yourself up for a beautiful future. Leave the ego at the door, leave the pride at the door. Come in, listen to the coach, because you not coach. Really, really, really indulge in being taught. Be a sponge. Absorb everything around you, especially if you're chasing a MMA career, a boxing career, wrestling, whatever it is in the combat sports. Be an open sponge, man. Leave the ego at the door. There's no time for that, especially with this pandemic going on. It should have shown you already if you haven't noticed it already. Leave the ego where it's at. Really, really learn how to be you.
Nice, man. Thank you for that. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, before we head out, then where can people follow you? Your Instagram? What kind of social media?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on coconut_bombs with a Z. And then I just opened up my new shop, Coconut Bombs Shop. You guys can go ahead and follow that, coconutbombs.com. It'll be blowing up real soon, guys. Brad, I appreciate you having me on your podcast. Just want to say happy holidays to everybody. Spread the positive vibes. Much aloha. And remember, guys, it's not about the gifts and presents that you get, bro. It's about the family that you got around you. And show love, guys. Don't be afraid to show that love, because you never know when time's up like that,
I love that, man. That's great that you're closing out with that. It is a kind of a terrible time right now. It's pretty shitty, for people's families, and family members are passing at the same time, people losing jobs. So it's good to hear words of encouragement from people like you. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you, everything that you're doing right now, especially making a name for Hawaii. I really appreciate that. That's good.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you have anything else?
No, bro. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you for your time, man. All right, guys, so we're out. This is Dream Large, Live Larger. We got Dallas and Maki here. All right, guys, peace.